Hiya! Today I have a new sketchbook tour for you. It's a mixed media sketchbook, so I can't wait to get into it. Also, hi, I'm Kama, and I go by Weird is the Best on the internet, and I really hope you enjoy this sketchbook tour. This is a Seawhite of Brighton, and it has 190 pages or 95 sheets of paper, and it's 140 GSM, and it's a square format. And Seawhite of Brighton is a UK brand, and they are known for their quality sketchbooks for affordable prices. This one is an all media acid-free cartridge paper, so it's not perfect for watercolors, and it handles water in a little bit of a strange way, which is why I kind of initially was disappointed with these sketchbooks, but I found a way to use them, and I actually quite enjoyed this sketchbook. What you'll see here will be a lot of sheets of paper inside. It's where I marked my pages for the video that I'm planning to record soon. I recently reached a 500 days of drawing every day, and I really want to do a video, but I marked all the pages in all the sketchbooks, but there are so many that I think I'll just have to split it into multiple videos and not organize it by any themes, just go with it. Otherwise, I'll never get to it because it's just an overwhelming amount of sketchbooks. So that's coming soon, and I think that's how I'll do it. Okay, so if you're new here, my name is Kama, I'm also known as Weird is the Best on the internet, and I love drawing in my sketchbooks. I only started working in sketchbooks maybe 4 years ago or so, maybe slightly longer ago. But I never really worked in sketchbooks before, and I really fell in love with this. And now I'm filling them really, really fast. I work in multiple sketchbooks at a time. I don't treat them as anything precious unless I'm working on like a special sketchbook. So most of them, I just treat them as, there's always another page. The sketchbooks I buy generally have a lot of pages and are generally not too expensive, apart from a few exceptions. So yeah, I think that's it. If you would like to, at the end of this video, I'll link to a playlist where I'm sharing all my sketchbook tours, and there's quite a lot of them. So if you're enjoying this at the end, then you can go through that and continue watching them. Okay, so let's get into the sketchbook. So like I said, it's a Seawhite of Brighton, UK brand, and a square format. I always put stickers on my sketchbooks. So these two are by The Wild Pencil on, that's the username and the name of the shop on Instagram. These two are by myself. These two I picked up at Thought Bubble last year. Let me just check. Centered. That's better. So I picked these at Thought Bubble last year, and they're from Delicious in Dungeon, and I don't know the artist. That's the problem, I guess, with not having the artist name, which I also rarely do. People forget who made these stickers, but anyway, I'm digressing. This one's by mcpike, and it's from the Odd Orange drawing session, which was really fun. I love this bear drawing session. And this one's by Just Was Here, who makes amazing art as well. Okay, let's get into the sketchbook. So I always start with having my details inside, so I covered that up for the purpose of this video. And I didn't put the date I finished, but it doesn't matter, we'll get to it. I finished very recently. And I started this sketchbook on day 57 of drawing every day. That doesn't quite add up because I've been drawing for 500 days. I'll need to double check this. But I started on the 1st of Jan 2024, so last year, about a year and a bit ago. And I often treat my first page a bit like it's not precious, so I even wrote here is an intentionally ugly first page, enjoy, because it gets rid of the, oh, it's a new sketchbook, I want to do it justice, and so on. So I often will draw something funny on it or test my art materials. There's many ways you can do this. And in my 500 days of drawing video or videos, who knows, there might be like a whole series depending on how long it takes me to record. But I think I'll be sharing a few tips as we go through all the pages. So yeah, that's one of the tips, is to have an ugly page. And honestly, don't be precious in your sketchbook. So here are some drawings from, or like textures that I painted at a drawing session with Katie Moody on her Patreon. And the idea, like, this was all about texture, so we were studying all kinds of textures. So there will be a lot of this at the beginning of this sketchbook. They're like imperfect pages, just trying things out. That's what sketchbooks are for, especially the less expensive ones. And then there were a few drawings that we did on that session. Not my favorite things to draw, but I tried. And then we drew these, or this, and I redrew it again. I just enjoyed playing with textures. I think this was paint and Neocolor tools and maybe colored pencil. And I added some white paint on top because I think I messed it up, or maybe the paint from the next page seeped through this paper. So yeah, this paper is not very good with inks and things like that. You can see the bleed through from the ink as well here. So that's something to bear in mind, but I didn't mind too much. So yeah, here's some more texture. I think I was using something like a sponge material just to see how far I could push the texture. This was like representative of moss. Here I got some new inks and I was trying them on this paper. This paper does not handle ink, especially some inks don't do very well on it. So this was Octopus, I think, Octopus ink, and this was Rose Quartz by Pelican. And these three are by Diamine, which did a little bit better, surprisingly, because these are the cheapest of the, like, there are 250 per ink bottle, and these are more like 10 quid-ish. I can't remember exact prices. So yeah, that's an interesting comparison. And yeah, it's a shame. Oh, but also like this page was pre-wet, so that affected the swatching. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend this sketchbook for inks, maybe. I also joined a session with Kate Sutton and we were drawing birds. This was kind of like a session with references provided, maybe not as much a tutorial as just like let's draw together kind of session. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I used a gold paint thing, which I have actually, I just looked at it, from my art friend. Like, they sent me a sample of this is a personal message, Sennelier Iridescent Copper ink, and I just, or paint, and I just covered it because it was kind of making everything else dirty with the paint. But the paint is still usable, so I might use it more in the future. I really find it satisfying. It's kind of like a copper, shiny copper color. And here I pasted, because I didn't want to draw on the backs of these birds, I pasted in some drawings on Khadi paper. And Khadi paper, I think it's an Indian brand, it's made in India, and they make beautifully handmade and kind of slightly imperfect paper, so you can see like where the, like, tablecloth, what's this thing that catches clothes on the peg line? Pegs. So you can see where they were drying the paper, and it's like, it's really imperfect, but I love it about that. It's very handmade, and there's something pretty about that, you know? And I used some watercolor paints. And here's a continuation of that session with Kate Sutton. And here I was just trying to study some animals, just to kind of improve my animal drawing skills, and I picked this weird jerboa animal which looks like kind of like a mouse, or like, you know, those jumpy mouse animals, which I completely forgot the English name of. And then I drew the things, I think they eat these berries, so I drew the berries, and I used just like a yellow highlighter at the background and just regular graphite pencil. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. Here is some inks. Sorry, I was just reading cartridge stock. I think it's describing this paper, maybe. So yeah, some more ink tests, and again, a lot of inks just didn't do well on this paper, so yeah, it's not really for inks. Here I was testing parallel pens of different varieties. Here I joined a session with On Marwin. I struggled. I found it very chaotic, so yeah, I gave up quite quickly on it, to be honest. Some random drawings. Not my favorite pages, but you need the not favorite pages to get to the favorite pages, if that makes sense. You know, like you just need to work through the pages you enjoy less. And yeah, continuation of that session with On Marwin. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this. I will say that I like this flower. It's nice to pick up something, even if you don't like a page, to pick up something that you enjoy or something that you think came out alright. Okay, this sketchbook is a sketchbook featuring 100 horses from the Art Hang party, and I suggested that as a theme for the Art Hang party. If you have never heard of Art Hang party, you should check them out. I'll try and leave the link below. It's a YouTube account run by Melissa Martin Art, and she runs these sessions every Thursday night at midnight UK time or 7 p.m. Canada time. I forgot the time zone name. And every time there's something different. Sometimes it's completely unexpected. Sometimes it's drawing from references. I love these sessions. I learned so much during them. And yeah, we drew 100 horses in 100 minutes. So it was 1 minute per horse. Really hard, but also really satisfying. So I had some pre-painted pages in the sketchbook. I was going to use these blobs for something else, but I ended up using them for horses. And there's just so many. I quite like this one. I won't spend too much time like analyzing every single page, and they will be spread throughout the sketchbook because I had some like unfilled, like these pages were blank, but I moved on to other pages, and then I was like, oh, I can draw these horses here, if that makes sense. Some more swatches of some paints and Neocolor 2s. Yeah, not much to say about this. I made a video swatching Derwent Inktense pencils. Again, not that much to see. I used them wet, and so dry and wet, and I used them wet here and then dry here. And with Derwent Inktense also comes outliner, which in my opinion is just a regular pencil, but I quite like using it. And here are all my Graphitint pencils, which are very similar to Inktense, but Inktense are very intense, as the name suggests, and Graphitint is a lot more muted and kind of moody, if that makes sense. I was trying to get this weird effect where you have a bit of line work showing through, and then when you wet them, it dissolves and makes a really nice texture. I don't think it worked on this paper, so I maybe need to try again on like a proper watercolor paper maybe. But yeah, I think I swatched this on the video as well. Here I drew a couple hand practices with a graphite pencil. So this was on day 197. So that might have been the beginning-ish of my drawing every day. Yeah, it's been a long day. I'm not going to count days right now in my head. I think these are Neocolor 2s. I don't know why just those, maybe it was an art haul. And these are Neocolor 2s or Neocolor 1s, and these are my... maybe they're all... oh, these are Neo Pastels, I think. I have only a few, and the rest are Neocolor 2s by Caran d'Ache. I like crayons for adults, basically. They're really fun to use. I need to go back to using them more. Here I was learning from Domestika, and this was a really informative course about like the different things that impact your drawing. So like the angle of light, the direction of light, like how to draw shapes and the bouncing light and ambient occlusion, which is the line, the darkest line where the shadow touches the object, basically, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it properly. And there's also like a cast shadow. So yeah, there's a lot. The course was packed with information and it was super useful. And it was also focusing on like drawing from actual skeletons or skulls, just to get the feel of the actual animal, and not like, you know, what you see on an animal is not necessarily their bone structure. So this was very useful to like study the bone structure of an animal to inform your drawing later on. And so on and so on. I kind of gave up later on in this course because it was just a lot of information and I can always go back to it and learn more. But I think I needed to absorb the first part of the course and then come back to this. So I maybe should revisit it soon. And I kind of continued drawing my own objects. So this is at a local pub. And like a plant I saw from this is from reference actually. This is from life, so I was looking at these and drawing them. I'm quite happy with how these turned out. I need to practice this more because I think it looks kind of realistic, but more in a like graphic novel-y way, which I love the style of. Here I got some scones for my birthday and I took some photos, and later on I came back to my old photos and drew them using everything I learned on that course. Here I'm not sure, I think I was testing marker pens. And I drew this fish using what I learned on that course as well. Some more tips, and I drew this from a reference, I believe. And this is from a book about crystals, like all the different minerals that you can find in nature, and it was the photos, maybe photos or illustrations, were really interesting and beautiful, but I very quickly gave up on it because it was too abstract. Some doodles, some trying to combine colors, definitely not my colors. I don't like these color schemes, so I kind of quickly moved on. From YouTube video, I'm not sure what kind of YouTube video, must have been watching like a aquarium maybe. And here I joined Scribble Brigade session, and this was with Sophie mcpike. So Sophie mcpike is an artist, really talented artist. You can find her on YouTube, Instagram, all kinds of social media, Patreon, and this was one of her Patreon sessions, I think. And we were drawing vintage stamps, and I joined part 3. I think that might have been the one I joined live. So she used to run 3 sessions a month. I think that's changed, so I don't want to like tell you a lie. I'm just checking I'm still recording. I had a few bloopers recently, so just making sure I'm not talking to, the void, I guess. So yeah, the stamps were really interesting, and I've since started collecting stamps. So we have this like local vintage shop, and every now and then I'll just pick up like a small pack of stamps for inspiration. I really like this one, for example. And here I joined session number 2. That was the following day or something. I didn't write it down. But yeah, anyway, I joined another session, and here I was trying to also fit text on these stamps. I think I like this one the most on this page. If you're watching this and you like a particular page, give me a shout in the comments. I'd love to know which pages were your favorite. I love the tiger. And I think this was the end of the session, and then I joined. It's a person called Hexima, and they were streaming on Twitch, just drawing from references, and they're drawing really long timers. I'm not used to that. So these two, I used those references. And these two are from the account on Instagram called the Tuesday Collective, and they share fashion photos. And I think the idea is to draw them, maybe? I can't remember now. I need to check them out again because I think that's a good source of inspiration. And so I was going backwards. This is session number 1 of the vintage stamps with Sophie mcpike. Really fun. Don't really know which one I prefer. I think maybe this first one. And again, I was trying to add text. Here is a swatch page of Tombow brush pens. And there went... This must have been like an art haul. And there went Inkten sticks, I think. And everything got messy afterwards. So it looked much nicer while I was drawing with it, but then I put the pages together and everything went weird. I must have skipped the page and then filled it, because here is the continuation of a vintage stamp session. I love that there was a Polish stamp, but I think my favorite was this owl. It was really staring into our souls. I think everyone will remember that forever. Here I swatched some washi tapes. I don't know, I was maybe not feeling that inspired, so I just added loads of washi tapes. So this is like a sketchbook full of drawing sessions. This one's drawing is free, and I joined late, but I managed to draw Chloe. Chloe, who runs the sessions, always poses first. And I always talk about this as I go through my sketchbook tours. Drawing is Free is a free online session run by Chloe Briggs on Mondays, and anyone can join for free on Zoom. All you have to do is find the Zoom link, so it's on her website, drawingisfree.org, and you can join. I'm telling you UK time, so BST, I think. You can join them at 8 a.m. or 5 p.m. UK time on Mondays. She does take holidays, but very occasionally. So most of the year you can join them. And the idea is that at every session she will pose first, and while she poses there will be a song playing on her, I think, Spotify, and then she will ask another person to pose, and so on and so on. So it's like everyone poses to a song, and then when the song ends we move on to the next person. I really improved my people drawing skills by joining these sessions. I tend to use different art materials each time, like vary it slightly, trying different things. It encourages you to experiment a bit. And after the session you can go on Instagram, and Chloe will be sharing everyone's drawings on her Instagram stories. So it's really fun to see how everyone else interpreted the same references. Yeah, I think I captured the essence of a few people here. Like, it's not the best drawings, maybe not anatomically correct, but I really like how loose I was with my pencil lines. This is from an order I placed on a website with ink samples. Just a note, I thought I'll keep it, and this is the cookie, fortune cookie message. Here's packaging that I really enjoyed, and I used to eat them a lot. They're full of sugar, the Tanox. I forgot what they're called. Tea cakes. Here I was trying to draw a tree. Yeah, not much there. This session was crazy. This was a session with Sophie mcpike, and we were combining multiple... that might have been a different thing. That might have been Ruby at ETC session from Eventbrite. And oh my god, this was really funny. So we had the most ridiculous prompts. I don't even remember what the prompts were, but I'll read them out. So's your fun. guy. Oh, Sos, you're a fun guy, but there's not much room for you. A lot of people interpreted this one in a very dark way, I think. And then tripping over my own legs. Maybe I came up with these after the session because I was inspired. Either way. Haha, funny. Here's another Scribble Brigade session. So we drew some animals in classic art. I don't remember this session at all. I forgot it existed. And I put here, you're fluffing amazing. I guess it's like a weird card idea. You're fluffing amazing, stay cool and cute. Kiss me like there's no tomorrow. It's just cute pigeons kissing. Thought that was really pretty. Fun fact, I witnessed something like this in a park before. Pigeons just kissed. It was sweet. Here is like a tiny mini comic about my day, so like a diary comic. It's a bit of a downer, but I was so happy to kick the ball today. It's been too long. I knew my injured knee will hurt later, but since it won't ever get better, ouch. Oh, it's this way. I'm pretty bad at it, but I've always really enjoyed it, so who cares? I knew my injured knee will hurt later, but since it won't ever get better, ouch, it was worth it. For a few minutes, I was enjoying sports again. And it's like a frozen pea bag. Basically, I can't run or do sports that involve running or knees in any way because I have an injury that won't ever get better, so it's just painful. I can live with it, I guess. Okay, and here's just a random page. I was maybe feeling a bit uninspired, so I used my old drawings to redraw them. Am I cute? Of course you are cute. And I drew this fox. It's my like signature fox that I keep drawing everywhere. A lot of these foxes end up on my packages from my Etsy orders. Speaking of which, did you know that I have an online shop? I sell there loads of stickers, handmade sketchbooks, comics, zines, anything and everything illustration related. Some of them are a bit more serious, like the zines. Some of them focus on mental health, and others are just silly things made to make you happy. As usual, it's linked down below in the description, so make sure to check it out if you'd like to support me in this way. Okay, I hate doing promos, but it's gotta be done. And you might want to know, genuinely want to know about this. Okay, so yeah, it's just a weird fox that I skipped some legs on. Thankfully, I don't think I ever drew it this way on my packages. Here, so there's a Instagram account called Watching New York, and there are multiple ones throughout the world, so you can find your city probably. And they just post photos of people walking on the streets, and the street fashion is really interesting. Especially, I love the Watching in New York because it's very full of, like, it's very colorful, very full of character. There's always something interesting there. And here are some of my own doodles, just graphite pencils, and I think this is like a... Is it there one? Might be there one light fast, or it might be Carandash Luminance in Dark Indigo, which is my favorite by far pencil. And some cuts. This is there one light fast. I recognize it. So yeah, some weirdo cuts. And we come back to the horses, because we're only on horse number 12 and there were 100, so expect more pages with these. I quite like this one. It looks very majestic. Yep, more horses. Maybe this one is my favorite on this page. So we're up to 20. And here are some just... Sometimes when I'm painting, I hate wasting paint, especially if I like it a lot. So I just use their leftover paint to pre-paint all the sketchbook pages. There's always sketchbooks lying around. I always work in like, I think at the moment I'm in 3, 4, at least 7 sketchbooks at the same time. Like, whenever I feel like I switch to a different type of sketchbook. And I find that helps me go for longer, like draw, you know, I've managed to reach 500 days of drawing every day. I think that really helps to switch, keeps things more interesting. I can't get bored as easily. I think I like this one. It looks very, very happy. It's like strutting. This horse does not look like a full horse. It looks like it's just made of leg and a bit of torso. But also it ended up biting this horse on the butt. I like this one as well. I really want to make some stickers with these horses. I think the poses are amazing, so I need to get on it soon. More horses. Surprise! We're on horse number 40. Oh no, this is horse number 40. I quite like the colors on this page. Yeah, they're all very samey on this page, I think. We're not even halfway there. Are you still with me? Drop a horse in the comments. Just a horse emoji, if you're still there. And here I kind of got bored of, I think, few, because we had a break after number 50. And I think I got bored of the single color, so I switched to a magic crayon, magic pencil. Yeah. I don't think I enjoyed it more from then on. Maybe this one is cool. Good shape. Another strutting horse. It was tough. 1 minute is not a lot of time to draw something, especially as hard as a horse. But I think the short time limit made us not care so much and just roll with it. I like this horse. It's running somewhere. Really important. I think this horse came out quite nicely. I mean, when I say nicely, it's like, Picasso, right? I don't actually think it's a masterpiece, but I like appreciating my pages. And I really like how this horse came out. There's something really, like, I managed to simplify the shapes and the line work. So I think that's my favorite of all the horses I drew that day. Some more. This one's taking a break. I think we're all ready to take a break, sorry, at this point. Okay, so we're on horse number 72. And 74. Quite like this one. It looks very peaceful. More horses. Surprise. More horses. And more horses. Are you still with me? I was just checking the time. I thought, for some reason, I usually underestimate how long I'm recording for, but today I'm going quite... It's only half an hour mark, so it's not too bad. This horse is dancing. They're also derpy. I love them. It's those super quick drawings that help me improve the fastest. Like, at first it's really overwhelming to do something really quickly, and it turns out really badly. The more you do it, the more confident your lines and the less you care about the end result. And it might not be the best. They might not be the best pages. The, anatomy is all over the place. But you learn something about how to simplify a horse by drawing it quickly over 100 times. I don't know how to summarize it, but that's how I feel. We're on horse number 91 now. So we're getting close to the end. I remember panicking a lot at this session. And 95. I think this one is quite nice. I like the face. We're very close to end. Oh, I love this one. I remember drawing this and adding like a weird smiley face just to make it derpy. And it's asking for help, oops. Or maybe I was asking for help, who knows. No one knew at the end of that session. And horse number 100. So I'm done with 100 horses in 100 minutes. Like half of the sketchbook is horses, basically. And some there in here. So like a third of the sketchbook is horses. And then I took a break after this. I took a bit of a break from the sketchbook, but I joined it back. So I don't even remember. Never mind, I'm not going to waste your time by trying to find the exact dates. But I came back to it in February this year. And this was a drawing session with Amy Harwood. We were using some Pinterest references from her board that she prepared for the art club. And the theme was fossils. And yeah, these are all from reference photos from Pinterest, or like one photo, but I tried to draw it multiple times and I used art graph. So this water-soluble graphite is called watercolor graphite by Viarco. And yeah, the idea was to draw it in multiple ways. I finished this session in a different sketchbook. And we have the art hang party again. This time we were drawing landscapes. They were quite quick. We usually start with quick ones and then move on to longer times. And the sticker is from the art hang party on coffee. And I love putting their stickers in my sketchbooks when I draw with art hang party, but I might be running low on stickers, so we'll see if all of them will have it. This was a redraw, and I didn't even realize I was redrawing it until almost the end. So I need to find the original drawings. I think at some point in the future I'll be doing a session where I redraw my old drawing sessions and look at the improvements and whether I improved even. I have a couple, so I have this one and I have a people drawing session from Sophie mcpike, where I've already done that one, that people one, twice, kind of in a year. I had a year gap between the two and I'm well overdue for the third year in a row, so I will probably record something like that soon. And this was like different times of year. So there's spring, summer, autumn, winter, and again spring. I really enjoyed these two pages. I used like a credit card, like an old credit card, to spread some tempera paint on my pages. This was tempera page and this was gouache. And the effect is like, there's something about it. I really like this abstractness. I don't know the word. And another spring. I'm not sure what this was. I take it I didn't really enjoy this page, I guess. And some more. Quite like the winter. It's very like basic, simple thing. And here I drew a cat. And I don't normally draw on an entire page, let alone spread. So this was a really nice experience. I started doing that recently in a different sketchbook and yeah, I had fun. This is thanks to Artex markers. I have a few packs of these acrylic markers and they're really fun to use. They're like cheap and cheerful, but really nice for sketchbook work because you don't feel that precious about them. Here is, I think this is like a black edding acrylic marker, and I had the pre-painted pages. I didn't know what to do with them, they were a bit dark, so I just left them as negative space. If in doubt, I draw a cat. That's my go-to. Or bows. I love bows at the moment. They're everywhere, so it's kind of like an easy thing to draw. Or cats with bows. And some more cats. I kind of enjoyed this graphic look, so I kept going. And I'm trying to like refine my signature cat style. Some more. So these are paints. And at the beginning of this video, I said that this sketchbook doesn't really handle wet media that well, but it seems to be okay with Gansai Tambi paints. Gansai Tambi are a Japanese brand, and they're kind of like they're called watercolor, I think, by the brand, and they're by Kuretake, but they act more like gouache, so I would call them like gouache watercolors, and they come in these pans. You can buy bigger, smaller sets, you can buy them as singles here in the UK as well. So I was really enjoying just like going big in the sketchbook, like going for big textures, big brush strokes, and filling lots of pages. These were my most fun pages in the sketchbook. And back to acrylic markers again. This was some kind of drawing session. Or maybe I was drawing bluebells. I was practicing for going out to draw some bluebells in real life, maybe? Not sure, but didn't really come out the way I wanted, so I moved on. And this is one of the drawings from the Odd Orange session. So like I said, I always work... Sorry for the change of sound, I'm just trying to make sure you can see this. So I had to move. So I'm always surrounded by multitudes of sketchbooks and paper and art materials. And everything's like, especially when I'm painting, everything's like spread out, and I'm trying to dry things and then getting desperate and waiting for things. And yeah, this was one of the pages that I painted on that session. And this was Gansei Tambi and a bit of watercolor. I think the watercolor was by Rosa Galleria. And yeah, I really enjoyed this session. It was super fun. And this is the statue of Venus or Aphrodite. I forget whether it was Greek or Roman statue. I think it was Venus, right? And this is the end of the sketchbook. I love ending on a high. Like, this is one of my favorite pages in the sketchbook. I hope you enjoyed this sketchbook tour. If you did, give me a like and thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel. I make weekly videos. I've been doing so for the last, I don't even know how long. I've been doing this a while now. So there's a big library of videos that you can go back to and rewatch, or watch rather. I tend to make sketchbook tours, art haul videos, swatching materials. I've done one vlog when I went to Japan, and occasionally like draw with me. They're really chill. You can have them in the background. There's like no pressure, easy to watch kind of video, I hope, at least. And if you got to the end, I used to do that a lot and I forgot recently. If you got to the end, comment with an emoji. You can just comment just like literally just one emoji, or you can leave me a message. I think do like a flower, either a tulip or a rose or something. Pick a flower, pick your favorite flower from the emojis. I would love to see who lasted until the end, who stayed until the end. I don't know, it's just nice to, because I think with social media we don't get that feedback from the people who are there with us, and it's always nice as an artist or as a creator to see and interact with the audience. I love everyone like commenting on YouTube. It's a lot more community-based social media, so yeah, don't be afraid, don't be a stranger and say hi there. And yeah, I think we'll finish here. I hope you have a lovely day artsing, and until next time, bye! So now you should see a link to the playlist where you can continue watching sketchbook tours with me. There's a massive library of these, so click through to that if you'd like to continue. And I'll see you there. See ya!